Mark Esper, Trump's Secretary of Defense, is on CNN right now saying that everything Trump said about Mark Milley is not true. He said Mark Milley had an advisory role that advised Trump and him, the Secretary of Defense, and Mark Esper told him to contact China.
Much of this is due to incomplete and inaccurate reporting by a few authors, most of whom I have respect for, but who are, I think, trying to depict a hero fighting against a lone president. But the story is much more complicated. I mean, the accusation that Milley called the Chinese on his own is simply wrong. I had reached out to my Chinese counterpart in mid-October of 2020 to send the message, because of what we were hearing through intelligence channels, through open sources and whatnot, that the Chinese were scared, alarmed, uncertain about what was happening in Washington. So I wanted to send a message to them that everything was okay. We had no intentions about them. We want to keep the lines of communication open, so forth and so on, because I wanted to avoid any type of accidental conflict or confrontation with the Chinese. So about a week later, after my call through a subordinate was initiated, I was in a meeting with Mark Milley and Admiral Davidson and others, and I conveyed to them that we had sent this message to the Chinese. And as is typically happens, is we have others in the chain of command do the same. Milley, Davidson, and I spoke about this. I directed Milley to reach out to his counterpart as well and convey the same message, which he did a few days later with the help of some of civilian appointees who work for me. And by the end of October, he conveyed the message. And the good news is the Chinese came back and said, thank you very much. We've been very concerned. We appreciate what's going on. Because, look, at the end of the day, nobody wants some type of accidental conflict to happen with the Chinese or with any country for that matter. So I thought it was always good diplomacy and responsible statecraft for the DOD to be doing this.
And the Joint Chiefs Chairman, I mean, they just take orders from either the Defense Secretary, the role that you were in, or the President, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff is an advisor to myself, to the President, to the National Security Council. He has no formal command authority over anybody. He's an advisor. He is a coordinator. He can be a communicator. And so what he was acting on was my directive to reach out to his Chinese counterpart, which is something we did typically. We would do it with regard to the Russians in Syria. We would do it with other militaries around the world to make sure we were passing along a unified, coherent message up and down the chain of command about our intentions.